Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's Free Your GIS webinar. My name is Jan Truskowski, and I'm just going to be the moderator for today's session. Switch the slide. Hope you enjoyed that wait music if you were online. And then I'm going to go through just a few of those housekeeping issues. You'll see the application widgets, or what we call windows, also on your screen. You can close those down. They'll fall down to the bottom. And then you can use them as follows. The question mark is for any technical issues that you have. We're going to have this webinar muted for audio, so if you have any questions, we invite you to submit them using the Q&A widget. We will likely answer them at the end of the main presentation, but we may address some of them as the presentation continues. So just go ahead and use that and we'll get to them. If we don't get time to answer them at the end, we will definitely address them after this presentation concludes. All of those widgets, again, are resizable, but the most important one is if you want to see the screen a little bit better, just click on the top right-hand corner of the slide widget, and that will make it a full screen. So today, again, is our third and final webinar in this series. The first webinar on Tuesday saw a discussion on whether geospatial data is special and should be treated differently than other types of corporate data. Yesterday's webinar delved into the topic of commercial GIS versus open source GIS and what you should use when. In today's webinar, we're going to look at how you can take GIS from the back room to the boardroom and make it available to everybody who needs it. Really how you can share your GIS data and analytics with people inside and outside your organization. Just a brief note, if you missed the previous two webinars, just go to freeyourgis.com and you can see the on-demand recordings of the previous webcasts. Now, let me give you a brief introduction to our speakers. Our first presenter is Andy Dendelay. I hope I pronounced that right, Andy. I know it's French. And Andy is the Global Product Manager here for Location Intelligence at Pitney Bowes, has a number of products. He is going to be joined today by Jan Trudeau. Again, to Jan, I hope I pronounced that correct. Jan is a solutions architect at Carem Geospatial. Jan is going to touch on what Carem is doing, what is their view of the evolution of GIS to location intelligence, and how Carem is helping customers be successful with integration of location intelligence solutions into business processes. So, without further delay, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you, Andy.
Thank you very much, Jan. As Jan says, my role at Pitney Bowes is the Global Product Manager for Spectrum Spatial Analyst and the Spectrum Spatial Location Intelligence module. On today's presentation, what I want to really cover is a little bit of understanding of what we mean by free your GIS, and a little bit explaining about how organizations are using location intelligence and it's opening up new ways of working and innovation within organizations. And then I'll be passing you on to Jan, who is from our premium partner Carem up in Canada. He will be giving some examples of how that actually is being deployed in different verticals. So I really want to start with location intelligence and in terms of how it enables better decision making. I mean, we live in a world where, whether we realize it or not, location intelligence drives business decisions every day. From risk management with insurance or coverage maps within telco, to site selection in retail and city planning within the public sector. Each of us is impacted by business decisions and they're influenced by location information. Free Your GIS isn't just about open source versus commercial versus proprietary software. It's about you and your time. It's about data, processes, software, and technology and intelligence. It's about helping you to deliver more effective solutions. The question I want to really ask is are organizations using all this valuable resources and technology and data to their optimum? Are they using it to be working more smart? Are they using your resource to be more effective? Using a bit of my past experience, I thought it'd be really good to ask a quick question, which will follow by a poll very shortly. I just want you to sit there and just think, how many times do you get asked? And what I mean by that is there's a number of small jobs that come in. I mean, we understand that your time is precious. Spending time on important tasks and jobs within is critical to you and your business, your organization's success. But what about those small jobs? What about those jobs that come in where someone says, do you have some data showing me the properties that would be at risk of flooding or a fire or potential earthquake? I've got some data from a partner and they want me to put it in a map. Is there a chance that you can help me do that? Or I need a map showing the location of our stores and customers on. Can you put our competitors in there as well? And I need a map for a report that I can stick in a Word document. Can you send me a PDF? Or can you send me some address data that we can use? These are the type of tasks that, as a GIS professional, they do come in and they do interrupt your activities. But the problem that we have is that most of us spend too much time on what is urgent, these type of tasks, rather than not enough time on what is important. And that's really, really critical. It's about understanding what type of tasks you're doing and looking at those tasks that you're being asked to do and whether or not it's appropriate for you to do them, or can you give the tools to the end user to be able to do themselves. So just a quick a poll question. I mean, I'm really interested to understand the type of pressures that some of you guys are under. So this one is how many days a month do you spend helping business users with GIS queries that with the right tools, access and training could actually do them themselves? Is it 1 to 2 days, 3 to 5, over a week, all the time? Or my favorite, no time, because I'm amazing. And if anyone please puts that, well done. We'll just leave this open for another 10, 15 seconds. But this is really about getting an understanding of the type of things that are putting pressure on you. And this is, again, based off my experience as being a GIS manager. I understand that these type of claims and questions come in. 5 more seconds and then we'll go on to the results. So I'll just close that now. So nobody put no time because I'm amazing. That's upsetting because obviously we're all GIS professionals. I'm sure you are all amazing. But yeah, understanding that some 7% get 1 to 2 requests a month, spending days a month they get working on that. And then you've got 28% of people, 3 to 5 days, 35% doing over a week's worth of effort. All those poor souls who are spending 28% of their time all the time are dealing with GIS queries, which isn't necessarily using your resources and your skills to the maximum. So I want to talk a little bit about how organizations are changing in how they value location intelligence. But I really want to ask another quick question, which is, does location intelligence really matter? It's estimated about 80% of an organization's data can be spatially enabled. Some organizations are obviously exploring this exploring new approaches using GIS and location intelligence at the heart of its transformation. With the traditional desktop obviously clearly much in the GIS professional's realm, the introduction of new technologies such as obviously web, mobile and tablets are seeing business professionals and customers change how they view and access and understand spatial data, and ultimately for that reason they're becoming more location intelligent. And these are some of the people. So from management using location intelligence to make better decisions, basically because they're able to get access to analysis on sales trends, customer analysis, market opportunities, location analytics, and also they're able to see a deeper relationship between the business data and the location. But then you also have the business user who is able to capture accurate location information during the customer interactions, capturing addresses and locations, the location of service provisions, such as Find My Nearest services, and looking to enrich the business data within the organization with the customer and location intelligence. And then obviously you've got the customer, who's now using location intelligence to interact directly with the business, to actually start looking at providing information such as their address when they're getting an insurance quote, or when they're buying a product and looking at entering a delivery address or card details for making the payment. So, or from a member of the public ringing up a local authority and reporting a faulty streetlight or other infrastructure issues. And then you obviously have the web developer looking at embedding location within the business processes and systems. What I think is very, very clear is that regardless how we as GIS professionals feel, location is becoming more and more important to the business, and these businesses are seeing the true value of what that can bring to them as they look to change their processes. So location and intelligence underpinning business change. GIS has changed obviously how organizations think about business processes and decision making in interactions with internal and external of the organizations. For many of our customers, location intelligence is becoming significantly more important, particularly as they're beginning flooded with location data. The sources of these data deluge is business and social collaboration tools, mobile devices, business analytics, and particularly business intelligence, cloud computing, social media, and big data. Our customers require obviously a system that enables them to analyze massive amounts of location data and also generate insights from and to help their business grow. We did some work with a research company, Ventana Research, and their research found that 34% of organizations have improved their business processes significantly from using location intelligence and location analytics. So it's providing a real rich data capability and technology set that enables organizations to change. Consumerization of GIS through mobile, tablet, and web APIs, etc., has introduced a wider range of new users to the technology, from citizens and customers to IT developers and CEOs, and those all between. Location-based insight is driving better decision making and innovation. This change has meant organizations are looking at new ways to maximize time, improve business processes, get access to data, spatial data, quickly, in order to make informed decisions about a media that suits their need. They're obviously looking at automating data flows from the back office system to the front office system, creating unique visualizations of data depending on the need of their users' requirements. They're looking at streamlining complex business spatial calculations and processes to make it easier for them to manage and change, and also looking at how consumption of APIs and data services can make a big difference. And these are driving innovations such as big data, Internet of Things, smart cities, customer engagement strategies around self-service. But ultimately, it's also enabling businesses to think differently. And over time, we've seen this change in the technology market. And as a technology provider, we have to provide a greater flexible, agile, and scalable solution so that businesses can meet their need. So I just want another quick question around mobile, tablet, and other devices. I want to know a little bit more about your organizations in terms of how you're doing that at the moment. As an organization, do you already serve spatial data via the web? Do you sell mobiles and tablets? The answer is yes, we fully embrace this. Yes, but only a few teams and services use it. No, we only use desktop GIS. Or no, but we're really keen to adopt it. So again, I'll leave this open for a little bit longer, so you can all submit your options. One more seconds, and then I'll close the poll. Okay. So again, quite interesting. Those 15%, I'm really pleased to hear that you fully embracing web, mobiles, and tablets. And hopefully you as an organisation have already seen change in what this type of technology can offer. Those 40% that are using it with a few services and teams, it'd be interesting to know why it's not being used wider within the organisations, or is the plans to make it wider within the organisations? And then obviously the 25% where no, we only use desktop. Very keen to obviously understand why you're only using desktop. And the last ones, no, but we're very keen to adopt it, 20%. The good thing is those that are looking at adopting it, you can actually understand and see the benefits that a number of these organisations that are fully embracing it are already achieving, and use that as a good stepping stone in the direction you want to go within your business. So I just want to talk a little bit around the key pillars of location intelligence success and what we at Pitney Bowes believe helps you achieve that. And obviously we've talked about mobile, tablets, and other devices. I think it's quite important. Whilst that is the end objective, it's everything else that that underpins the success of a spatial data infrastructure and enables you to free your GIS. It's okay providing people with a map on a mobile phone or a tablet, but what about the engine behind it? What about the technology underpinning it? What about the data management? How do you orchestrate the relationships between the back office and the front office in terms of database connections? And how can you customize those capabilities? So I want to talk a little bit about, as we as a technology providers, how we've adapted to help organizations transform and identify more geospatial opportunities. Pitney Bowes obviously has a web mapping tool. In my case, it's Spectrum Spatial Analyst, which I'm a very proud product manager of. And that helps spatial data services that underpin and helps organizations leverage location intelligence and data in a more accessible, customized, and consistent manner. When considering your GIS ecosystem, there are 4 key pillars that we believe will help drive towards an enterprise location intelligence. It's the visualization and analytical piece. This provides your users with the ability to interact with your business data. It's regardless of the access on a desktop, a mobile, or a tablet, the capabilities and visualizations remains constant. Providing tools that enables your users to analyze, query, edit, capture, see, and ultimately see the relationships between the business data. So that's the area in which the very end user perspective and what they can see and interact with the business intelligence and use to make the informed decisions. But then you also have the next bit, which is more aimed at you as GIS professionals, the ability to emphasize spatial data management. It basically enables you to create a single source of truth so that you can see the full spatial data available. It allows you to harvest internal data and also link to external data sets. And about understanding how you publish your business data, sharing internally and externally through OGC standards for web mapping services and web feature services. But it also allows you to establish a governance to ensure that you and your users access data in a controlled way, and it makes currency and the quality of the data foundational to your strategies. It also enables you to control the access to the system and the data from one central system. So it means that it gives you greater access and control to how you want your users to visualize and see the data. But underpinning that as well is the ability for you to actually orchestrate and create. And what we mean by this, it enables you to free the back office intelligence and data to the front office by orchestrating the business processes and data flows. It's about linking data across the enterprise to create data relationships and enable better decision making. Creating experiences that present your data in a process in a flexible manner. So that could be charts, graphs, or images in order to meet the end user level requirements. It's about putting you in charge of how you actually want that data to be displayed and how that data actually goes through your organization. And lastly, it's about customization. Believe it or not, not every single technology that comes out of the box will meet your business needs. And it's never about changing your business process to meet the technology. It's about the technology. It's about the technology fitting your business. So what we actually tend to say, all good technology providers should give your organization the ability to grow. And what we've done with customization is it allows you to build additional components that can enhance and change and build upon, so that you can meet it, so the application can meet your key requirements as your business grows and demands change. So I'm coming on to my last slide before I hand over to Jan, but there's a couple of things that I really want to cover. To successfully provide GIS for everyone, from the back office to the boardroom, for me, it's about 3 basic things. It's about freeing your time to work on important tasks. That's really, really critical. Whether it's the CEO getting access to customer and sales data on his mobile or her mobile presented as charts, or a CRM services and customer service representative seeing data relationship between customer complaints and deliveries, or giving the web developer the APIs to enhance the website or application, to a customer viewing the business data showing which roads will be resurfaced in the coming weeks, or the field worker accessing critical business data in the field. It's about giving the right people the right tools to enable them to self-serve. It's about enabling them to be able to be in more control of the data and the way that they interact with the application. It's about changing how you provide the capabilities to the end user to business data, providing new innovative ways of creating unique experiences. It's about giving you and your organization more time, opportunities to change, to embrace technology that is designed to be more flexible. And it's about making it so that you can ultimately free your GIS. And if you're in a situation where you're not making you're not maximizing your time, then maybe it's time to look at alternative technologies that fit your business. So thanks for that. And I'm going to pass over to Jan now, who's going to go over a couple of use case examples. If anyone's got any questions, please post them, and we'll try to cover them throughout the presentation or save them to the end. So Jan, over to you.
Great, thank you, Andy. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jan Trudeau, Enterprise Solution Architect, working at Corem Geospatial. So first off, I want to start by introducing who Corem Geospatial is. So basically, we've been in the industry, in the geospatial industry, for 25 years, a main partner of Pitney Bowes, and with others as well, like Google, working on implementing the best geospatial location intelligence solutions in the industry. So our main focus really is in the vertical markets of retail, insurance, telecommunications, as well as utilities. So we're a one-stop shop, meaning that whichever business challenges your organization is facing, well, we have access to the largest inventory of software, but also with the largest inventory of data portfolio that enables a resolution path to your problems. With our team of expertise and know-how, we can support your needs at all levels, meaning that we can go from just product and data purchase, supporting you in that way, or going down the path of a full solution implementation of location intelligence solutions. We also provide hosting services, so if you don't have the back-end infrastructure, we can actually help you as well on that front. Now, if you look at this slide here it's just a quick recap of our customer base from left to right, basically depicting retail, telecommunication, the insurance vertical market, as well as utilities. So as you see, we have a major logos there and a broad expertise with all of them. Next, what I want to do is really focus on Corem's view of the evolution, really, of GIS towards location intelligence. And you'll see towards the rest of the presentation how we're addressing this with some key examples. So if you look at this image, traditional GIS is basically mostly seen, the department really sits within the middle of everything. They're seen as the steward of location and spatial data, where basically the other stakeholders are looking to the GIS professional to offer guidance and support of the actual business needs. It's also seen, you guys from the GIS department know that it can be time-consuming, complex, and outside the GIS department, people will actually see the GIS as being difficult if you're actually not a skilled expert. Often as well, you'll see, let's say, client-server environment, which is actually siloed within the GIS ecosystem, which means that when the business comes and asks for help, well, everything needs to go through that GIS department in order to get it done. So this leads to import of business data from all these various departments that you see on the slide towards the GIS ecosystem. This ultimately leads to duplication of data and can also create some confusion about the actual source of truth. And you don't want that in a big enterprise organization. So moving on to really talking about some of the business challenges trends that we see in the market. The first major one is really there is a huge increase of requests for data location intelligence and analysis that basically comes from everyone within an organization. This was previously used almost exclusively by traditional GIS mapping experts, but those demands actually are putting an enormously big pressure on GIS team in order to be efficient in their daily business that they have to do, and ultimately they cannot respond to that heavy demand. Because, and Andy did touch on this, I mean, because location intelligence was actually consumerized by the likes of Google, location is now used everywhere for providing precise answers, and this now puts a huge pressure on the business to enable each business department from basically the operational to the strategic level with integrating location intelligence capabilities. And when we talk about requests and the Internet of Things, we also are talking about how should we be addressing as an organization the data deluge of location-based data, which comes from various sensors, social media, it could be from final transactions, and within all the business systems that exist within an organization. You want to be efficient and fast in extracting key information rapidly with that big data or that data deluge that we're all facing. You want to be better at organizing that data. And we're talking about here probably some geospatial data lakes, struggling to break down the data silos. So that is a key problem for business. Where is my data? Can I have access to all of it? And ultimately, you want to improve the quality of the existing data with location analytics and geo-enrichment. This leads basically, consumers are putting pressure to have a better personalized digital experience, which leads to the near real-time answers that everybody is looking for in order to be efficient. So those are the key really business challenges trends that we see. Now, the consequences is, and now I'll be talking about the paradigm shift here. So the consequences of these business challenges lead to a paradigm shift towards location intelligence. And basically, location intelligence capabilities should be supporting the business and not the other way around. So it should not be one department supporting all the departments that you see again depicted on this image, but really sitting in the middle where the data resides, okay? Because again, the data lives outside the GIS department, not within that department. So it lives within all these various business departments, from the consumer, bringing in Internet of Things or big data, from the sales, from marketing, from, you see GIS there. GIS is now a department helping to solve location intelligence and providing some support to the data. So ultimately, data here is the power, what powers everything. So there's a definition of location intelligence. It basically blends the analysis of object with spatial attributes in order to provide a powerful capability that can be integrated with both operational and analytical applications within the enterprise. So moving on, ultimately we say moving away from the back room to the boardroom. One good example is your boardroom executives are basically non-technical people. They're non-GIS experts. You want to simplify their life in taking the right decisions. So what exactly does it mean enabling departments with location intelligence? An enterprise location intelligence technology platform, such as what Pitney Bowes is offering, basically should enable any organization with the following: location services, powerful geocoding, reverse geocoding engine, address validation capabilities, like for instance using a master location data, providing geo-enrichment of that data, providing spatial lookup capabilities that you would see in GIS systems, and ultimately easy data integration into the enterprise or into legacy systems. As well, because there's no one-size-fits-all, the location intelligence capabilities needs to be adapted to the various user environment. Go back to my previous slide with all those various departments. So it leads me to talk about various personas. You still have the desktop end user, which will need to provide and prepare data and provide this to the business. You will need to publish quickly through a centralized web interface really reaching out to the broader audience. It could be internal employees to really external public-facing websites. Ultimately, you want to provide better tools. We just did a poll about mobile devices and how much it's used. I was surprised to see the results. So again, using one location intelligence technology platform can enable you to simplify these processes pretty easily. You also have really business key needs, okay? So the business will drive demand, and you want to basically have the flexibility in answering that one business demand. And so by using, again, APIs and capabilities which sit on top of the data, you're able to address these. And ultimately, I mean, not all systems are equal. I mean, you have legacy systems in place, probably within an organization. You already have business rules. So you want to be able to tie in new technology, new intelligence, that spatial intelligence or location intelligence, in the services, back-end services, by using capabilities from the location intelligence technology platform. So let me. This leads me basically to talk about user stories or industry use cases. How Coremit basically is helping customers to expand the use of location intelligence across their business. Here I'll be focusing on two vertical markets, but I mean the key message that I want to get across is ask yourself, how can location intelligence really help my business strive and be better at optimizing my business processes? So first off, I'm going to start off with really the insurance industry. Just to touch on some of the market trends, I mean, right now what we see in the market is really insurtech. So basically legacy systems of large insurance companies meeting new technology. How can they be married together in optimizing the processes? So bringing automation, but also personalizing the user experience, so providing better personalized information to your clients. There's the digital transformation. A lot of companies are going through that. There's demographic changes. There's also the telematics. So these are some of the trends. And ultimately, how I'm going to be breaking this down is what is actually happening. So as a lot of you may know, is insurance by trade is a non-geospatial industry. The back-end legacy systems are built on top of many business rules in order to provide the best policies to your customer base. But GIS departments also exist at insurance companies. These were mainly used using the skilled expert of GIS in order to do after-the-fact risk assessments. So it wasn't fully used to its maximum. And again, with the increase of demand, it puts a lot of pressure on those departments. So ultimately, I mean, the market and the customer are putting a huge pressure really on the industry for instance, instant quotation. I mean, the end customer, when you're calling yourself, when you're calling an insurance company to have a new quote, well, you don't want to be answering tons of questions. Hey, where's the closest fire hydrant of your house? You don't want to answer those questions. I mean, you want to have a quick insight on who is calling you and be able to quickly provide them what they're looking for. So again, because we're all busy and we want to get those answers quickly, because the GIS department was traditionally central to all of this, they're getting pressure. Ultimately, I mean, you want to provide a better, accurate, and competitive price. So you need to, in order to be able to achieve this, you need to have data in order to be able to provide those accurate and competitive pricing. New products are being basically created in order to differentiate, offer new value, attract new customers to your organization, to your business. Those products could be telematics. It could be wearables. It could be Internet of Things, smartphone apps, which actually tracks what you're doing. And these products are coming in the next couple of years, and they're already here and being used. You have small devices installed in cars that captures big data or all those points when you move and speed and analyzing if you actually are a good driver or not. So these new products are real, and they're there, and they're capturing tons of information. Customers are looking for easier and quicker responses, and they want this to be accessible over the internet, for instance. And from a support standpoint, when you're calling, well, the customer has the expectation of the company to have a 360 view of who you are when you're calling. New startups are also paving the way for doing for new, better ways of doing things, or bringing new using technology. Providing quick answers to your customer. I mean, an insurance company is see it as a huge container ship. A container ship, if you want them to turn around, it cannot do this in 2 seconds. So it's the same thing for large legacy insurance companies. I mean, a good example is how Lemonade in the U.S. is actually pressuring the U.S. insurance market with their fully autonomous underwriting and billing processes. Keep that in mind, and this is putting all that pressure on the industry. So ultimately, what is happening? I mean, we talked about really the legacy insurance systems. And those systems, they don't consider the power of the where or the location, okay? So by integrating location intelligence at the level of those legacy systems where the data resides, it will bring you more accuracy to your analysis or risk assessments, and it will ultimately enable you as an organization to really build the relationships across all those various data sets that exist. So when someone's going to call, you're going to be able to provide better answers. Behind the scenes, so if I ask a question to the public right now on the webinar, what is the first word that comes to mind if I say GIS? I'm pausing for 3 seconds. And I'm sure a lot of you were thinking of a map. Well, we're all thinking about that location intelligence, or GIS is all about visual or a map. And that's a false assessment. There is not necessarily a map with location intelligence. Location intelligence means bringing mapping functionalities that we used to use in the GIS department to be applied elsewhere within the business environment. Okay, so it could be aggregating 2 business data sets and with a spatial intersection of a specific point or location, and then proceeding that execution of back-end business rules to get the proper answer we're looking for. So again, it's not always a map. It can be a back-end process. Ultimately, provide better tools for your field agents. Again, few teams were using mobile devices. That was 40% of them. Well, you want to provide better tools for your employees in order to offer or increase your customer satisfaction. There's somebody who called in for a claim. Well, you want to provide basically the best route for your employee to go and visit that person, that customer of yours. Or even better, is the address I have in the system really at the right location? Am I sending my agent on the field at the right house? So those are all questions that you need to ask yourself. And because of the new products offering, insurance companies are looking to implement more and more, like telematics. Telematics by default will generate a lot of data. We're talking billions of points that you will need to aggregate all that information and be able to make sense of it. But all those points from telematic data, yes, there's speed, but there's always an X and Y. There's always a location. So again, by adding location intelligence functionalities or big data location intelligence engine on top of the data being collected, it will simplify your life in analysis. So that brings me to the how. I'm going to be talking about like ways that we help our customer. So here is a kind of a visual, okay? So some GIS analysts, I'm sorry, I don't want to pick on you guys, but they'll say, hey, I'm able to build that same image with my data and then build a map. Well, yes, you're right, you can do this, but my point is there is more that meets the eye than just a visual here. The key important point about this image is how accurate and how well the enterprise data is related to one another, and how it provides the best operational answers to your business and to your customers. So again, the tools are not always visual, okay? They need to be it needs to be clean and straight to the point. So if I break down the picture, because we're on a webinar, I didn't want to bore you with only me talking. I wanted you to focus on this. So, I mean, if you look at this, everything starts with a location. So you have on the top right corner there, you provide your address. But once you've provided your address, this is where in the back end, a lot of magic is happening. I call it magic, but really it's not magic. Technology brings that. So really what's going to happen in the back end is really the geocoding engine is going to actually take that address and will make sure first off that address is qualified, is correct, was well input. If it's not, it will correct it and make sure that it knows exactly where it is. So really geocoding precisely and locating that address is key for your start there. And then ultimately, you can provide geo-enrichment to the address you just located. It could be a building. So what's the age of the building? How many floors is there? What's the evaluated price of that building? That's all information you can get out of data or out of your existing systems if data, the quality is pristine. After you've actually located this, you got that information, there's then the business process, a risk exposure analysis, analyzing if there's other policies located within the same area. If you have too much, do I need to offer a premium to this new person? Do I want to take him on board? Am I putting at risk my business? Again, these are all valid questions for the insurance industry. So ultimately, I mean, this back-end processes, as you see, nobody sees it, but it is happening on the back end. So again, clean, simple, and straight to the point, and this is what customers are focusing more and more nowadays. Okay. So I'm bringing back to going from the back room to the boardroom. I mean, imagine having on a daily basis thousands of requests. I mean, wouldn't you want a fully automated process to handle the load instead of having your GIS department executing that risk exposure analysis I just talked about? Ask yourself that question. So just a quick quote here about one of our customers. I mean, Desjardins actually committed in developing new products, like I mentioned, and services to offer really peace of mind in meeting the current and future needs of their clients. Ultimately, I mean, this was to focus on customer satisfaction, which leads on less churn rate and better retention, and directly increasing your ROI. So moving on to another industry, the telecommunication industry, some of the trends that we see at Corem is really the 5G, Internet of Things, providing faster speed. Digital transformation is also another of them. Customer retention is also key for the various telco companies in order to grow. So same kind of recipe here. What is changing? So telephone companies are used to basically leverage network planning and optimization desktop tools such as InfoVista Planet to perform various analysis. Okay, so that would be mainly used by RF engineers and GIS analysts. And like the insurance industry, the telco market are being pressured by customers asking and putting that huge pressure on the market. They want to have really a better offering and better ways of staying relevant and providing optimal services. The backend systems, okay, the various offering of networks that various telco companies are offering, like the broad fiber connectivity, high-speed internet through wireless or microwave, 5G, voice over LTE, for instance. These are, I mean, there's a lot to maintain. Those add complexity. So you need to provide real capabilities for supporting this. Convergence of wireless to wireline. I mean, where wireline is used to actually, it's complex to maintain, can be complex to expand as well. Because of some of the restriction you may face with. So both of them will leverage one another. Take a wireline, take it to a tower, put some wireless network in order to serve your customers better. So there's strategies being put in place. And ultimately, the customers have less and less fidelity. We've seen it with insurance as well. I mean, they will switch easily when unsatisfied, which this is leading to higher churn rates. So ultimately, I mean, the companies need to offer better customer support experience in order to keep that high level of retention. So what is happening with it, because of that, the telco industry is drastically changing, has been changing over the last decade. There is a huge need for that faster digital transformation. And what you need to do, and what these companies are doing more and more, is they're offering dynamic tools for customers to basically easily verify their coverage and its quality. Need to basically do frequent updates onto the back-end data they're collecting on a daily basis, in removing those hard copy coverage maps that sometimes you would see, or non-updated coverage maps, so that would basically lead to errors. You want to basically provide ways for customers and prospects to qualify what type of services is available within where you live. So these same services also are integrated into call centers. This is to optimize the offering. You want to speed up the diagnostic and the feedback. A user might call in or use a public-facing site, and the support team need to have the same tools that are used from both ends in order to provide the right accurate responses. Ultimately, I mean, location intelligence will help to basically enable the consolidation of information from various systems quickly and efficiently, providing ultimately a single view of the customer view, and providing better answers and services for your end users. So if I talk about the how, again, that single picture, so the data comes from different departments. So the key important point, again, is how accurate and how well the enterprise data is related to one another, and how does it provide, again, that best operational answer. So one key important data layer in the telco industry is really the RF engineering tools generate like what we call signal propagation layers. And these are translated into MRR file, which basically are combined with consumer data, which is processed by the big data engine or environment to actually bring you the right information when you actually ask that question about what type of coverage do I have at that location, okay? So but if I go quickly, again, we start with a location. Give me an address. Or in this case, we have, it could be a client number. So by providing a client number, you need to be able to answer those two questions automatically. And then in the back end, geocode, locate the address precisely, be able to do that back-end analysis against the location engine where it will pull out the information from the RF engineering like signal propagation layer. Say, okay, well, what's the quality of the signal do I get within that area? Those honeycomb shapes are there just to show you that those are big data. Those are data points of quality of services captured on a daily basis. Those are billions of points captured on a daily basis. So those points, you need to actually have the engine, the proper engine to analyze this. And location intelligence with the proper engines will actually enable you to achieve these things. And ultimately, the end result is really getting the coverage result for that client calling in or the call center doing this. So again, it's a clean, simple, and straight to the point business need and business answer. And not necessarily there will be not necessarily a visual tied to this. So again, these can run in the back end. So a quick, I'm going to leave you on a last quote, where basically, I mean, T-Mobile in 2015 introduced a dynamic customer verified coverage map, providing near real-time answers to their customer, and that actually enhanced the user experience rapidly, and all that by analyzing billions of points with using that big data engine I've been talking about. So I'm going to finish off on Karim's takeaway. I think one is because location intelligence capabilities need to be integrated into other enterprise systems along with existing business processes, the IT departments and the business departments now work together into integrating the location intelligence as well as accurate data and breaking the data silos for providing that single kind of view answer that business is looking for. Keep in mind, again, and I've said it a couple of times, there's not always a map. You can have all of this running in the back end through a business process. Corem's expertise will help any companies on the call right now to seek opportunity in system modernization, accelerating the digital transformation or their shift towards digital transformation, helping you guys to automate your business processes, ultimately helping increase revenues, decrease that cost, and improve your productivity. And finally, digital transformation is using location intelligence technology such as Pitneybo's platform is what we've been doing with the insurance, telco, retail, and utilities vertical market successfully for many years now. So, I mean, if you want some help, just give us a call. Thank you very much. I'll now pass it back over to Andy, where we're going to go in the Q&A session.
Thanks very much, Jan. I really appreciate that, and an excellent, very, very much thought-provoking. During our presentations, a number of questions have come in, and please keep on adding them, and I'll pick out a few. There's one that's come in, Jan, and I think you're the best place to answer this one. But the question is, if I understand well, the Free Your GIS campaign, PB is not trying to replace existing GIS departments' technology stacks. We use Esri, but instead offer an alternative way to empower IT and business departments to leverage location intelligence.
Well, that's exactly right, Andy. For instance, we at Corem work closely with IT and business stakeholders in really identifying key pain points and providing the best recommendation for solving really the geospatial/location intelligence problems that these organizations are facing. So we often found that people are not always aware of the real power of the enhancements of business processes with location intelligence. So again, I think the webinar is not to replace an Esri GIS department, but is to often enhance businesses with better capabilities. So that's what we've seen so far in the industry.
Yeah, and I think I just need to add to that as well, which is this is very much about it isn't about what desktop solution you use. This is not about saying to you what file formats you use or what database you use. This really is Free Your GIS is very much aimed about understanding that GIS is much more than that. It's about people, processes, technologies. It's about understanding how your business works. It's about giving you and enabling you a good software, a good GIS software, a good technology software should enable you to should provide you with flexible and a dynamic approach to deploy innovation. It should not dictate how you undertake your actions, and it should give you and the tools to empower other users to be able to deliver their services more effectively. And that's what we're trying to say with Free Your GIS. It's not about choosing open source or anything like that. It's about giving you the right capabilities. But another one that's coming that's very similar to it in terms of it says there, do you need MI Pro to actually use Spectrum Spatial Analyst? If not, can we get our Esri shape files into the SSA without using Pro? I'll answer that one if that's okay, Jan. No, you don't need you don't need MapInfo Professional to use Spectrum Spatial Analyst. With Spectrum Spatial Analyst, as was shown in this presentation, comes a data flow process that sits between your back office systems and your front end and the front end application. But that can also allow you to actually load shape files and other spatial data formats and databases directly into Spectrum Spatial Analyst. That the data management and the orchestration piece allows you to actually create that central view of all your technologies. So whilst MI Pro, obviously, if that's what you've got, you can use that to get data in there. But ultimately, no, you don't need MapInfo Professional to get that data into the solution for your users. And again, it doesn't matter as well what database you use. So if you're using an Oracle SQL or a Postgres database, or even some other open source databases, our technology is not about forcing you to use one specific format. It's about giving you the ability to actually connect to any data source that you have in a way that allows you to orchestrate and maximize your benefit to your organization. Jan, this one's coming as well. Is what emerging technologies do you see impacting the GIS industry?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's all about the moving away from looking at all the various technologies that exist out there, but looking at how you can empower your people internally in order to have the right skills in understanding how to leverage and understand what, for instance, location intelligence, how it can be applied to existing businesses. I'll use as a good example, I'll speak about myself. I have a strong IT skill set, and I've learned GIS on top of everything. I don't come from the other way around where GIS degree and then I learn IT. So that skill set can actually be can be applied across and understanding better how location intelligence can be implemented within the businesses.
I think you make a really good point there. For me, I don't see it's necessarily an emerging technology as such, but I think the changing role of the GIS expert is what I see as being the main difference in the future of GIS. We seem to be moving away from this GIS expert in terms of the original traditional GIS expert, the person who understood cartography and understood spatial data, and we're moving into the realms of more a developer stroke GIS person, more an IT-based person, people who want to build and develop and customize and enhance the application. So for me, that's the biggest shift that I see going forward. And for that reason, I think from a technology perspective, whilst in my past experience, I've always found that a number of technology providers has always tried to restrict and direct you as an organization how you can do things. We've had to change, and I call it internally, I say I like to be the Android approach, which is you provide a technology platform which you can, out the box, meets a number of your needs, but you have the capabilities and flexibility to customize that in a way that allows your organization to change and grow and adapt to the need of the market that you're trying to hit. So I think that is the biggest technology change going forward, is the change in that person. Another one as well is this one again for you, Jan, and that'll probably be our last question, which what differentiates PB from other providers?
That's a great question. PB has, I think, a broad offering. Okay, so we've discussed about the big data challenges. Well, it has a big data cut out of the box, which you can use on top of Hadoop, for instance. And the other thing PB brings is that modular approach. So if you're an organization looking to add that location intelligence on top of your existing systems, where you can start small and expand by adding new functionalities. It doesn't only focuses on, I think, the spatial aspect, but also brings data-centric capabilities, and all this is all cut out of the box. You can actually create data rules and validation. You can enrich your data as well. There's a lot of data sets that PB is offering, and all of this is all tied with that single PB key, which connects all these 100 data sets together. That's pretty incredible. I haven't seen this in my past life, that broad offering. So it also is, I think, from my point of view, that IT geek I am, really an open architecture and enables really the extensibility, creating custom data providers to legacy systems, for instance. That works really well. So key points, I would say accuracy, unlimited users and transactions, performance, and the deployment flexibility. And that's what I think PB is bringing with that broad offering.
Yeah, and just to give more context around that, around the data side of it, we have a software data marketplace where you can now actually go and look at the type of data that PB has, interact with it, and if you wish to do so, you can actually get access to that data and use it to actually enrich your business process. So anyway, that brings us to a draw of hours. I'm going to pass you back over to Jan, who's going to finish and close the session. Jan, over to you.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you. This was a great discussion, and for those of you that are interested in hearing more, go down to that resource box and register for Ask the Expert session, which is coming up in within an hour, I believe, after this. and we'll have a lot of lively chat associated to these topics. Also, there's going to be a short survey that pops up before you leave. I would encourage you to complete that. Meanwhile, I will thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I hope you all found it very interesting and thought-provoking. I know I did. Thank you and have a great day.